Most creatives stay stuck for one reason, and it's not talent, discipline, or consistency. It's access to the decision makers in their industry. You think access is something that's being withheld, like there's some bouncer guarding this magic door. That's not how it works. You can build your way in. You just need four specific things to do it. What you need first depends on what you're actually missing. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to figure that out and get what you need in a way that also gets you paid. Look, I have worked with literally hundreds of creatives in all sorts of industries like actors, writers, artists, photographers, and they fall into two camps. There are those who know that something's wrong, but they can't figure out what it is. And then there are those who can name their problem, but they have no idea how to solve it. And this framework fixes both of those. All that advice that you've gotten throughout your career, it assumes someone's paying attention. It assumes you already have a way in. But if nobody knows you exist and what you're capable of, none of that matters. The good news is, once you understand what you need, everything's figure-outable and a whole lot faster than you think. There are four things that are always missing in one combination or another. I call this the S.I.K framework, and we need to cure it in order to get your career back on track. These things are skills, industry proof, connections, and knowledge. But before I walk you through each one, there is a mindset shift that makes this way easier. Most people say X or Y is the problem, but that way of thinking leaves you powerless. Instead, ask yourself, what am I actually missing? What do I need? Because that gives you agency. You are then able to do something about it. And look, you start seeing that what you're missing isn't an obstacle, it's your starting point. By the way, I've created a free guide. It's called the Escape Route Playbook, and that walks you through the entire diagnostic. So make sure to grab yours. Look, if you're exhausted, you are not alone. According to the 2024 Mentally Healthy Survey, 70% of professionals across media, marketing, and creative sectors reported burnout last year. This grinding approach, it just doesn't work. And every unpaid opportunity trains your industry not to pay you. So let me show you how to flip this. Let's start with the one that never closes. Skills. Okay, this one is easy. If you take your craft seriously, you're never done training. But here's the actual problem. You're paying to train when you could be getting paid to train and be using those sessions as opportunities to solve your other problems too. And if you catch yourself saying really specific things like, I finished the 5th draft of my novel, but I can't get literary agents to open my query letters, then what you're missing there is knowledge. This kind of information isn't, I don't understand the industry. This is, I need specific information about how something specific works in order to hit my next milestone. I worked with a really talented woodworker who wanted to do Christmas markets and art fairs, but he had zero clue what the process even looked like. He needed someone who'd been there and done that to show him how. So he organized a workshop for himself and other artisans and got the information he needed. Now that's just knowledge. Proof, on the other hand, is different because sometimes you know you have the talent for bigger things, but you've got nothing that shows that you're ready to play at the level that you say you are. And talent without proof is just potential. And potential doesn't book the job. So if that's what you're dealing with, then what you're missing is industry proof. I dealt with this when I was relaunching my career, right? Nobody cared that I used to be a professional actor back in Chicago. You need something tangible that shows what you can actually do. Proof is one problem. Sometimes the one thing that's missing is that someone with actual power who knows who you are and what you're capable of. That's just connections. Look, people like to work with people they like. period. And you need a way to stand toe to toe with people you're currently viewing as above you. And hiring does that. That's what one of my clients, Anna Soibert, did. She's an actor who wanted to break into stunt work. Sure, she was athletic, but she needed actual stunt training, and she didn't know any stunt coordinators. So she hired an expert who also works as a stunt coordinator on sets to lead a workshop for her. She got the training she needed, and she built a real relationship with someone who has actual hiring power. If you don't know who the people are who make the decisions in your industry, you could be as good as you want, and you're still going to stay invisible. This is just an access problem, and it's usually what's actually keeping you stuck. When I wanted to relaunch my acting career, everyone said my age and location were the problem. But what was really keeping me stuck was a lot simpler. For me, that very first thing that I needed was to get my skills back to where they needed to be because I was rusty. My instrument was totally out of tune. I needed training. But flying to London, LA, New York, that was totally out of the question because of my family. So I brought the training to me in Munich. I organized a workshop, sold spots to other actors, got the training I needed for free. And that was like this epiphany moment for me because I realized I could take what I needed to get what I wanted. So I did it again and then again. I was doing this up to 3 times a month. And that first year, I earned almost 50,000 euros running these workshops, and I got over 12,000 euros in free training, doing something I would have happily paid to have done. But here's the thing, getting the skills I needed, those didn't just close the skills gap. Other actors became my friends and colleagues. They pointed me towards agents, casting directors, and projects that were currently auditioning. That was connections, skills, and knowledge all closed at the same time. But of course, after a year and a half of doing this, when I was actually ready to look for an agent and start submitting to casting directors, I needed industry proof. Nobody cared that I'd been a professional actor in Chicago 16 years ago. They wanted to know, who am I now and what can I do today? So I organized a showreel day. Got myself and 11 other actors professional material. All of that was free. No, it was better than free. I got paid, and I got the industry proof that I needed. Later in my career, I realized that casting directors saw me as, just another actor. So I needed something to put us on even ground. So I started hiring them to lead workshops. That put us in a relationship as equals, me offering them something of value, them bringing something of value. Not me begging for an audition or to be considered, but just 2 professionals having conversations, and I can still show them my skills during the workshop. Those relationships led to better connections, auditions for major studios, even representation with my current commercial agent. I've been using this method on and off for almost 15 years to help me use what I need to get what I want. And without it, I would never have been able to go from 0 to working with studios like Netflix, Hallmark, A24. Look, I just kept ticking boxes. So I've recently started teaching this method to other creatives. And another actor I worked with also wanted better relationships with casting directors. So I worked with her to show her how to use what she needed to get what she wanted. In one day, she brought together 3 casting directors and 27 other actors. She earned about 3,500 euros, and she got direct access to the casting directors in a way that the other actors didn't. I mean, think about it. Who do you think that the 3 casting directors are going to remember more? The 27 other actors they saw for 15 minutes, or the one who they built a relationship with and who was also able to show them her work? And of course, she's going to do it again with new casting directors. That's why I call this a framework, not a formula. So how do you actually figure out what to fix first? Well, do me a favor and pause this video. Open up your notes app or grab a piece of paper, and then come back to me and answer these 3 questions. Question number 1, what do I complain about most? Seriously, this is giving you major hints as to what it is that you need. Maybe you're a photographer who wants to do editorial work and you're complaining, nobody will look at my portfolio materials. Whatever it is that you're complaining about is usually covering up the real problem, which you'll find by asking yourself question number 2. What would I actually love to happen? The answer to our problem is always inside of the problem somewhere, and it's the opposite of whatever it is that you're complaining about. But you have to be specific about what it is that you actually want. And question number 3, what is the one thing that needs to change to make that happen? So here's where you need to get really self-reflective and identify what it is that you are actually missing. And you need to be brutally honest with yourself. Circle the one thing that's blocking you right now. That is what you are going to fix first. Then you move on to the next one. As I said, I created a guide that is going to walk you through this entire diagnostic. It's called the Escape Route Playbook, and it's going to help you figure out what it is that's been keeping you stuck and show you exactly how to turn that into your starting point. Here's what changes when you do this. You stop being invisible. You stop feeling stuck. You walk into rooms as colleagues, not as someone hoping to get noticed. Look, you're already investing in yourself, and you should be. That's smart. But most of those investments, they're a one-way street. You pay, you get the thing, and your bank account goes down. This is different. This is what my dad used to call sweat equity. You create the thing that you need, and that brings the money back into you. It's literally the way to support yourself and your career at the same time. You're going to invest anyway. This just makes your investment work twice for you. Once to get whatever it is that you need, and again to build the relationships that actually are going to open doors for you. Every time you create something that gets you what you're missing, it's like building a bridge over a gap. You build one, you cross it, you figure out what you need next, and then you do it again. That's how you keep moving forward. If this helps, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. And share this with a friend or another creative who you think could also use this help. And also let me know in the comments what that thing is that you think is missing in your career. I literally read every single one and respond to them myself. Seriously. And if you're looking for something else to watch, well, YouTube thinks you're going to love this video. See you next time. Bye-bye.